All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Workman here. We're going to talk a little bit about your electrical wiring, and what I found in the hundreds of surveys I've done is what most people don't realize. We have a magnetic field in that wire, and we also have an electrical field. And the electrical field actually will expand out 6 to 12 feet, depending on how the wire is configured. And as long as we don't have a net current through here, the magnetic field will stay pretty close unless you're at a point source like a meter or maybe a generator of some sort, a motor of some sort. So when you have these higher frequencies like you see over here, and this, I got this on a 16 megahertz. This is picking up everything, these little harmonics in the 16 million times a second, these frequencies that are actually coming off these wiring. It gets into your wiring through your grounding system, bind wire, and also electrical grid, and it's penetrating your body 16, 15, in this case 3.3 million times a second, so in the megahertz frequencies here. And all this is caused from our switch mode power supplies. I'm going to get into the kilohertz range here. And you really can see the humps here. This is your switch mode power supplies and your devices and your LED lighting. So we've done a few videos in LED lighting. So we have a grid system that's set up for fire safety, but it's not set up for any sort of health safety. So people are more and more getting phone calls, and it doesn't surprise me because your cell phones have actually increased on the intensity millions of times over 3 years ago. So you have the cell phone, which you can hit from. You got the Wi-Fi, which all these are class 2B carcinogenics, which is the same as lead. We feel it's actually a class 1. So when you add a device maybe over your face to reduce the oxygen, you then therefore pollute the fishbowl. And I think I even have a little fishbowl example here. I thought this was kind of fun. I think I set it right over here. So the old fishbowl, and I like to relate this to the fishbowl because I think people can actually relate to this analogy. I call this the germ theory. You never clean the fishbowl. Tell me the last time your doctor has ever said, you know what, why don't you clean out and detox your body first and stop going to Burger King before you do anything. That way we can see what your immune system can handle first, and then we'll do some emergency care after that period of time. So for emergency care, we have a great system, but for healthcare, it's really a terrible system here. Down here, you can also see these are the frequencies that are on the sine wave. And this is a 60 hertz sine wave here. This is every frequency that's above that 60 hertz sine wave. This is a dirty electricity. And this ubiquitous filter, which I have over here, this ubiquitous filter was inside here, is actually filtering out the 60 hertz sine wave, so that way that I can, on the yellow line there, I can just tell me what they're electricity. These are spiking, which should be from your smart meters, okay? So we also have magnetic fields, and we know that anything above a 1 is really toxic for the human body. We want to be below 0.5, and here at 0.22, but if you get closer to your, devices that, in 1964, now we are 6, 7, 8, 9 magnetic fields here, and we've known since 1964 when the EPA passed a law that we had to be 6 feet away from our television. Now we have televisions in our laps now, so which is again is polluting the fishbowl here. We have poisons or toxins in the grid, which is poisoning your entire house because you're living within 6 feet of those wires in the entire house. We're sometimes reducing the ability to detox the body through our breath, and we're breathing back in those toxins, which is making our body that much more toxic, which lowers your pH and makes you acidic, and therefore, because we would never ever not clean out the fish tank, and we never ever remove the oxygen out of the fish tank. But right now, for whatever reason, we're doing that, and we know that I thought this is kind of cute, that the Wi-Fi is the perfect frequency to make the population docile. So we have a docile population. We have a workforce that doesn't want to come to work because they're watching the LED, I call it the Body Me TV. And and we got them scared to death, and we're paying them to stay home. So a little bit of tidbit here, just a little bit of fun. You know, again, I've showed this several times with this meter right here. And looks like I reset it. It was supposed to stay on, but needs to be reset. I've also shown several times the energy in the air. I'll turn this on. And you can see right here against your computer, this is your light bulbs, this is your screens. We have a high magnetic fields. So anything above 3 is pretty much guaranteed to have cancer. So now we are being told from an energetic being that we need to starve ourselves from the sun. We need to starve ourselves from each other. We need to starve ourselves from family. And that's where most of the deaths occurred in history, is through starvation. And this is what's going on right now, where we need to do exactly the opposite of what we're actually being told. I do these little science experiments to give people a little of an analogy. This is one of my favorite devices here, which is actually a Rife machine. And this Rife machine here, I can program a frequency in the Rife machine, which is invented in 1950. And when I turn it on, this mechanism here, as long as I hold on to it, will put that frequency throughout my body, and whatever element I might be dealing with here, whether it be Lyme disease or lungs or whatever, this will help my body absorb this frequency to make my body stronger. So we're having cell phones that are putting out frequencies from these different towers, and the frequencies that come out of the towers, we know, are interacting with the human being, just like I put my hands on these two devices here and therefore turn on this medical apparatus, which is a Rife machine. I can get healing this way, but at the same time, you can also get the opposite effect too and get a harm if it's the right frequencies. And we know what's coming out of these towers are the wrong frequencies, and they're also using a radiation, non-ionized radiation, which radiation has never been proven to be safe and effective. And I kind of agree. It's the only time I've ever agreed with the CDC is I do agree that the zombies are coming, and they put this out a year ago. And because obviously the CDC is a centers of disease creation, so they create the diseases, they freak us all out, and then we don't think straight here. And this is unfortunately what I think is going to happen here soon.